Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice. And I looked it up, and yes, Kaguya is one of our love interests. He'll probably be in part 2 if they ever really. I really freaking hope they do because it's really good. But yeah. So yes. So obviously Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, obviously Snow White, Gretel, Kaguya, and Alice and the Wizard, I think, are the other ones. And there are a couple of other voiced characters, um, Wolf and the Huntsman, but they're not romancy routes, but they are characters that you meet that are, it's fully voiced except for us, basically. Um, and maybe this little side random voices. I don't know. Those could be voiced. I don't know. But the actual, I guess, characters that get sprites are voiced. But yes. Oh, so I am assuming I would take a guess that it would come out in 3 parts, and the last one would be like 3 routes. I don't know. But anyway, here's crossing our fingers and hoping, but I don't know how long it would be. Like, are we going to be like, is it going to be another year? Or are they going to be like, this did really decently, so yeah, we could release it in 6 months? I mean, who knows? I don't know. It's probably going to be fucking forever, and we're going to forget everything that happened in this, and we're going to have to play it again, but here we are. I'm enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying this. I won't know because this will probably all be recorded, processed, uploaded, ready to go over Christmas before you even see the first part. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully it goes up because the publisher doesn't have anything else out there, at least not available on Steam. So they might not have had anything localized. And the translators also, this is the first game that they've translated, so there's nothing else out there. So it's not like I can go and see like, oh, what's the history? The original terrible localization of the game is out there on YouTube, and there's other playthroughs and stuff like that. So I don't know. But and then it's weird because when I was looking it up, I was trying to find the list of all the love interests, and the Steam page tells you all the voice acting for everyone, but then I'm like, but there's 9 people here, and I don't think we have that many routes. So I had to go find like somebody's review, and I kind of just looked, and I was like, from 2016, and they were talking about a Vita port of the game, and I was like, well, can they read Japanese? And that's what they were doing? Or is that what the terrible version of the game was? But I'm really surprised because anytime I've searched for like Vita games or anything, like Otome games, everything, this has never come up. Like, so I don't know. Like, are there a ton? I mean, because there are some that were in the PS2 days and everything like that. And unless you can buy them in the Vita store or the PS store and play it on your PlayStation or your Vita, I don't have the equipment to play anything that's before Vita or the PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. That's all I have. I can't play anything that can't be played on one of those 2 devices, and I'm not going out and trying to buy other shit just to buy some of the older games that were localized. So that's the only thing that sucks. But so I don't know. I mean, that review that I found was from 2016, so it was like 3 years ago. So like I don't know. But she said mentioned Vita port, so I don't know. Because then I was like tempted. I was like, well, we could find the really crappy version if it was in English and just play the crappy version with the bad translation. But I really like this one, and I don't want to like slum it now. Like, I like this translation. It's gone pretty well, but anyway, here we are, back where we started. So this, I'm assuming, is the next morning. Light shone against my eyelids, and I stirred from my slumber. I sat up and stretched. Oh, right. I moved in with Cinderella last night. I opened the window to let some fresh air into the room. The golden rays of the morning sun felt warm against my skin. All right, let's do this. Oh, also, the one thing that I did kind of, because I was like scrolling to see her love interest, and I was like, wait. Kaguya's like kind of a jerk in his route. Like, he doesn't start out the soft, warm, squishy bunny that we love in this route. And I was like, wait, no. Because, like, again, it is like very much like Amnesia, where your relationship with the other characters is different depending on whose route you are. But, you know what I mean? So, that's kind of cool. But, like, I wanted Kaguya to be the nice, soft little muffin that we know in this route that we love. And he's not like that apparently in his. And I'm like, but no. So, I don't know. Hopefully we forget that in the 6 years it's going to take to get the second part of this. I mean, I don't know. You know, it would be really nice if they were like, yeah, it did really good. Here's the second part. But I wonder if they've even started localizing. the second part. You know what I mean? Like maybe they were like, well, let's see how the first one goes, and if it does well, then we'll do it. Because like, why invest the money in part two and already have it done and be like, oh, but part one didn't do good, but I guess we wasted that money. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened because that's basically how software development works. You're like, we're doing all this, we're putting all the money. You know what? It's not worth the money. We just spent $2 million on this. Yeah, it's fine. But like, it's only $20,000 to do this one little thing to fix it. Yeah, but we don't want to spend that. But you spent $2 million. Yeah, but that, whatever. But what? So they could have very well done the whole thing, and they're like, well, it's not worth it to release the game even though we translated everything and it's all done because the first part didn't go well. But you already have it. You could make money. So, I mean, who knows? They could be halfway through the localization, and if this doesn't go well, then they just scrap it, and they've only done... You know what I mean? So, who knows? They might not have started at all, so then it'll take even longer to get the translation for part two. Or they could have already started it and then just are like, well, we're just going to scrap that work. Because that wouldn't surprise me. That's basically how shit works in the real world. But, I mean, I don't know.
Hi, what you doing? You snuggling down there? You're being cute. Yeah. You're such a cute... Oh, I can't pet you. Okay, whatever.
You want to snuggle there because it's warm. Because my hand is right by the part of my computer that gets really hot. So he wants to snuggle on it. You can play, but don't you click on buttons on my computer. We're playing a game here. Anyway. And so began my new life at the cafe. Girl, please go get a snack first, because I'm fucking hungry. Literally. As you know, my name is Alice, and starting today, I'll be joining the team. Thanks for having me. That morning, I donned my best cheer as we all met up downstairs. I got the sense that there was still some lingering awkwardness from last night, but I decided to ignore it. A pleasure to have you with us, Alice. I run the kitchen, and Snow White is in charge of the dining area. Now that she's here, I can step down. Okay then, so we'll have you take over the dining area instead. Sound good? This is so like playing Cinderella Phenomenon, isn't it? Like, we're working in the cafe. Guys. Sure, no problem. But if it gets busy, I'd appreciate it if you could still help me out. I shot a hopeful look at Snow White. Nod. Apparently that's a yes. It looks like you've come to an agreement. Anyway, the job's very simple. If a customer walks in, show them to a table, take their order, and then once it's ready, you'll bring it out to them. Piece of cake. That's pretty much what I was expecting. Are there any special rules? Do I have to greet each customer in a certain way? Nope, you're free to interact with them as you see fit. Welcome back, master, or whatever you prefer. Oh, but there is one important rule. What's that? When I'm baking in the kitchen, you're forbidden to look inside. Also, apparently, his route is a little dark. Woo! I mean, you kind of see that he seems all nice and sweet, but then he gets really angry at Cinderella and is ready to knock his block off, so he's got some feisty in him, so. Under any circumstances. Absolutely forbidden. Why? I tilted my head in confusion, but Gretel shot me an intimidating smile that screamed, "Mind your own business, bitch!" Okay. I promise not to go into the kitchen. I held my hands up like he had me at gunpoint. Thank you. And now then, I'll be in the kitchen, so I leave the rest to you and Snow White. See you later. With a wave, he turned on his heel and began to walk away. Oh, wait! How do I communicate the customer's orders to you if I can't go into the kitchen? Oh, don't worry. There won't be any customers. He said it as though it was the most obvious thing in the world. What? No customers? In the middle of the shopping district? Is that even possible? Okay, but what if we do get a customer? Even on the off chance someone walks in, there shouldn't be an issue. And there are no food items on the menu at all. Why not? Naze sonata? He's right, you know. Snow White chimed in. I feel like his voice is too quiet, like you can't hear it. Our menu has drinks and our dessert of the day, and you can brew the tea yourself right here. Okay, but I'll make the desserts. Once they're ready, I'll call for you. So if anyone tries to order them before they're ready, just tell them it's not available. In other words, the entire menu was essentially tea. One word sprang to mind. Insane. Okay, just to be clear, this is a cafe, right?
Yes, and as the name suggests, we offer our customers a place to drink tea.
You know a cafe means coffee in French, right? Are you sure that's all you need?
I understand where you're coming from, but Cinderella's only running this cafe for fun, and thus the menu only contains items that are within our means to prepare.
What about this siphon coffee maker? I pointed at the appliance that, as far as I could tell, was only there for decoration.
There's no coffee on the menu, but you're free to use it if you wish.
So we can use it, but it's not on the menu. She is every one of us right now. The fuck is going on? I love it.
Correct, which means no one will order it.
You've got a really nice oven in the kitchen, too.
You can use that too, just
not while I'm in the kitchen, of course.
Right. So there you have it. If you need anything else, just ask Snow White.
I fucking love Gretel, because I can't wait for his route, because he's gonna be a cold-ass bastard, but he comes off so nice and sweet and charming, and like, if you step into the kitchen, I'll fucking kill you. You're like, okay. Hey, wait! Who's gonna clean the... But before I could finish my question, Gretel disappeared back into the kitchen. I looked around at the messy dining area, then back at Snow White. I guess we'll have to handle this mess ourselves. Phew! Finished. Finally. I thrust my dust cloth into the air in celebration. We'd taken out the overflowing trash, wiped down all the dusty shelves, and polished the floor with a fresh coat of wax from the party. Right. Now the cafe had been restored to its former glory. Hooray! Now all that's left is the kitchen. I hadn't seen Gretel since this morning. I didn't know what he was up to, but I promised him I wouldn't go in there, so there was nothing else I could really do. No sense in pushing my luck. I spun on my heel and accidentally slammed my elbow against the shelf. Gah! Something fell and I hastily caught it with both hands. That was a close one. I'd inadvertently knocked a little glass trinket from the open shelf. It had big round ears and a long thin tail. Is this a mouse? It wasn't the most appropriate decoration for a restaurant, in my opinion, but at least it wasn't a real one. It's Gus Gus. Cutie. I put the glass mouse back on the shelf where I'd found it, then gently ran a finger over it. I didn't know who it belonged to, but it was relieved to see it hadn't broken. With that crisis averted, I sat down on the counter to turn to Snow White, who was nose deep in a book. No customers, huh? It was just past noon, peak lunchtime hours, and yet the dining area was quiet. No sign of any visitors. This is how it always is here. Snow White didn't bother to look up from his book. I laughed dryly. Snow White was a great help to me this morning. In the beginning, anyway. At first I had him do the dishes, but he kept breaking plates. Then when I told him to pick up the trash, he threw everything into his trash bag seemingly at random. Eventually I realized it'd just be faster for me to do everything, so that's what I did. He told me he'd never had to do chores around the house before. Paired with his feeble appearance, he struck me as the little prince type. Naturally, this begs the question, how on earth did this place ever get cleaned before I got here? Oh, that reminds me, where's Cinderella? I'd nearly forgotten our MVP. The entire point of coming here and working here was to get to know him. I was so blown away by the idea of a cafe with no customers that I'd momentarily forgotten all about him. Did Caglia forget the fuck about you because you went in there and he's just like disappeared and he's gonna pop in and be like, where have you been? You fucking left me there, Dick! You're supposed to protect me! I'm telling my parents on you. I love you. Not gonna do it, but beats me. He's probably off screwing around somewhere in town. Like where? Don't know, don't care. I decided to change the subject. So, is that a good book? Meh. I don't understand why we don't have any customers. I mean, Gretel's such a good baker. Maybe they're intimidated. Or maybe it's because the menu's too limited. Do you think I could add to it, or would I get in trouble? I don't know. Knock yourself out. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh, I know. Say, if I made lunch for us, would you eat it? No. Okay, would you be opposed to me cooking for everyone? I don't know how good of a cook you are, but if my brothers are fine with it, then what's stopping you? Okay, cool. Lastly, do you think they mind if I cleaned their rooms or did their laundry? How should I know? Why bother anyway? I feel like I need to earn my keep if I'm going to be living here with all of you. At this, finally, Snow White turned to look at me. You're not a freeloader, you're an employee. Why do more than you're being paid for? Well, the cafe's so slow, I don't feel like I'm really earning my wages, that's all.
All right. Well, you do you, I guess. Okay, then, I will. Snow White shot me a dubious look as I giggled. What's so funny? I'm just really happy that you're talking to me, especially after last night. Thought maybe I upset you. He looked down at the floor. I have no strong feelings towards you one way or the other. And you're giving me no reason to like or dislike you.
I see.
I thought you were upset with me, actually.
What? Why would I be upset with you?
Well, specifically because of last night. The tea.
Oh, you mean how you didn't drink it? I wouldn't blame you for being a little skittish. You barely know me after all.
Not just that. I've been completely useless all day. I figured you probably saw me as dead weight.
You mean when we were cleaning? He didn't respond, but he didn't go back to his book either. You're just clumsy. It's not the end of the world.
I appreciate your concern, but trust me, it takes a lot more than that to get on my bad side.
Oh, that's me. Ahem. I appreciate your concern, but trust me, it takes a lot more than that to get on my bad side. I was like, wait, what?
And then what about Cinderella?
Snow White looked directly into my eyes. Well, what about him? I blinked back.
Well, how do you feel about him?
Oh, well, I think he's a very generous man. Are you on crack? It was my honest opinion, at least thus far.
You're the only person who's ever said that.
Really? Just me?
Everyone else calls him Cinderella the arrogant snob with a heart of ash.
A heart of ash?
Yes, not that I'd expect someone as pure and untainted as you to understand how it feels to be grimy with cinders.
I paused for a moment. How do you respond to Snow White's evaluation? So you say you think I'm pure? I'm sure he has a good heart under all that ash. I feel like that's the right answer. Well, I'm sure he has a good heart under all that ash. I put my hands on my hips. I was like, ooh, something smells good in here. It's my crock-pot mac and cheese. Ever heard the phrase, diamond in the rough? Sometimes you just need a little polish before you can really sparkle. Even if he does have a heart of ash like everyone claims, it's just proof that he's been through some rough times. He's a survivor. Besides, I can tell he's not a bad guy. Most people wouldn't hire a stranger off the street, no matter how good their tea was.
Even if he takes one look at your dirty dress and decides you must be a street rat.
Oh, I don't hold that against him. I did kind of look like a hobo last night. Wait. Something felt off about this conversation. Snow White knows who we are.
Bird, you getting your little birdie dandruff all over the place. It's kind of gross. Picking your dandruff off.
His question had been rather pointed thus far. Almost like he knew precisely how interested I was in Cinderella. Do you know who I am?
I don't know the first thing about you, but I know you're not who my brother thinks you are. Your speech, your mannerisms, the quality of your clothes. You're obviously from a wealthy family.
I smiled sheepishly. Evidently Snow White was one smart cookie.
He's a little biscuit.
Do you think Gretel's figured it out too?
Beats me. He doesn't pay much attention unless it's something he's heavily interested in.
Gotcha. What about you?
I don't know who exactly you are or why you're here, but as long as it doesn't negatively impact my life, I couldn't care less.
So you'll keep my secret? He looked away. Thank you. You're an angel.
No, I'm not. And I'm not doing this to help you.
You sure about that? Because I feel like you want to help me. I can see it in your eyes. Yeah, this is definitely the person I was going to get that feather for you, but okay.
I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't judge me based solely on my appearance.
Such a shame. You could manipulate the pants off someone with those looks. Predictably, he scowled.
Are you some kind of wolf in sheep's clothing?
No, but we'll meet the wolf at some point. Probably in Red Riding Hood's path, do you think about it? That depends. Do I look like a sheep? Or do I look like a wolf? I smirked mischievously. You don't want to be judged on your appearance, but you'll judge me on mine? Hypocrite much? He looked away again and the smirk left my face. People are going to judge you on your looks whether you like it or not. That's just a fact of life. I mean, it's all they have to go on at first, you know? Works the same way in the animal kingdom, too. They evaluate each other on external factors like whose wings are bigger, or whose mating call sounds better. This is just furthering to me that Alice is part of my brain. Like, boy, Alice is like another part of my personality because we are basically a walking fucking encyclopedia right now. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
But when it comes to us humans, there's more to it than that. For example, over time you can often come to appreciate certain traits that might have put you off at first. The more time you spend with someone, the more your impression of them can change, because there's more to us than meets the eye. Or maybe my brother's just a prick. Maybe he is, but I think I can come to understand him eventually, as long as he'll give me a chance. And now here I am, so who knows? Maybe fate has already worked its magic. He fell silent, so I pressed on. You know, I've been wondering, why is it that you brought me inside last night? Just felt like it, that's all. With that, he got to his feet. Where are you going? Somewhere I can be alone, hopefully. And so he walked out of the dining area without a second glance. He's a little bit Alice, too. We're all a little bit Alice. Guess I scared him off. I sighed. Frankly, I was worried that my presence was a burden to Cinderella's younger brothers. I just hope we can get along. I'm so fucking hungry, guys. In the end, not a single customer stopped by that day. Maybe we should do something about it. No, we definitely need to fix it. Meanwhile, I dished out the salad for tonight's dinner. When I told Gretel I wanted to cook for everyone, he said to me, sure, why not? He's like, whatever, I just bake, bitch. And that was that. Permission granted. I still needed to check in with Cinderella, as well as the other Alice who supposedly lived next door to me. But I hadn't seen either of them all day. The other Alice is obviously Alice. That was in her head, but it's weird. In fact, I hadn't seen Alice ever. I'd been hoping to introduce myself, but no matter how many times I knocked on the door, no one ever answered. At this point, I wasn't even sure anyone was actually in there. There, all done. With dinner now ready, I went to fetch Gretel. Maybe Alice isn't in there because he's in our head. Here you are. Bon appetit. When he arrived at the dinner table, he murmured in surprise. Wow, I wasn't expecting something so fancy. You must be talented. I don't know about talented. I just like to cook, that's all. The table was lined with sandwiches, salad, and a big pot of stew. What you doing, booger? You trying to pet yourself on my hand? I can't really bend my finger that way, buddy. If you can make stew from scratch, I'd say that makes you talented. Then maybe I should enter a talent show. I knew he'd only said it to be polite, but it still felt nice to hear. As I was grinning to myself, I realized he was giving me a dismal look. What? I tilted my head curiously, inviting him to speak his mind. You're like a little slave, aren't you? It was so sudden and so very rude. See, he's got a little feisty in him, so I'm not surprised, actually, that his route's going to be a little dark, because he seems to be a little, like, he going to be a little bit of an asshole sly underneath. You think so? I smiled back at him. Obviously, most people wouldn't cook and clean for strangers for free. But slaves only do it because they have to. I'm doing it because I want to. But why bother? Who stands to gain from that? They're all kind of lazy motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Well, I'm essentially doing it for my own benefit, but it indirectly benefits the rest of you, too. I guess I do chores for the same reason you bake. It's fun and I'm good at it. Chores are fun and I'm good at them. That is not something I ever want to say in real life. I mean, I'd rather them be fun than suck because, you know, but I'm good at them. Oh, God. Highlight of my life right there. I winked. Gretel raised his eyebrows and smiled. You don't pull any punches, do you? Nope, and neither do you. Now eat up before it gets cold. Gladly. Thank you very much. At last he began to eat my cooking. Cinderella's little brothers sure are a handful. Say, do you know if Alice is around? He should be. I doubt he's left his room. Great, I should tell him dinner's ready. Oh, I wouldn't bother if I were you. Why's that? At my question, Gretel tilted his head in a show of contemplation. If you're curious, why not go see him for yourself? It was by all means the obvious solution. I don't think he'll answer the door. I've tried a few times now. I think he's ignoring me. Oh, there's a trick to it. Gretel curled his lips in a sinister grin. He is okay, he comes off like so kind of nice, but a little feisty with his brother, but then like wicked grin. And then knowing he's kind of he's got a little bit of dark in his route, it's like, what? I don't know if I trust you, but I like it. Because he seems like the soft, and you expect Cinderella to kind of be a bitch. You expect some of the other one, but like,
he doesn't have the look of like someone who's a little like dark and dirty, you know? Well, here I go again. Hello, Alice, are you in there? I knocked on the door. No response, so I tried calling for him again. Hello, Alice. It's me, Alice, from next door. After a long pause, I slumped my shoulders in defeat. He won't answer. This was no different from my previous attempts. No matter how many times I knocked or called his name, the person in the room never answered. Ah! I took a deep breath. Alice, you freeloading scum! Pay your rent, you deadbeat loser! And screamed insults at a total stranger at the top of my lungs. According to Gretel, this was the trick to get Alice to show himself. A moment later, the lock clicked and the door swung open. It's going to be Alice, you know it is. I straightened my posture and donned a smile. Time to meet this infamous Alice. Hi there. As of last night, I'm your new... Shut the hell up already! God! Maybe some of us want to spend our lives sleeping, but no! You come storming up here pounding on my door, howling insults? Some great hobby you have. Have you considered getting a life? If you knock on my door and I don't answer, that's a pretty good indication that I don't want to answer. Don't you think? Even the mailman has enough common decency to leave the package at the door and go away. Out walked a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. Oh, right, you're a guy. I already knew this, but somehow it still came as a surprise. In fact, I scarcely even noticed his little tirade. Thank you for the pointless observation. Newsflash! As you can plainly see, I am a man. Or, what do I look like, some kind of animal to you? Are you that deranged? Because if so, I can assure you, I'm very much of the male variety. And also, before you start shrieking, he looks like a doll, or some other brainless harpy drivel, just quit while you're ahead. The only guys who like to hear that shit are weirdo cross-dressers. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a cross-dresser, don't call them weird. We're all a little weird, thank you. I'm pretty sure Alice is a girl's name, though. So what? You gonna judge me based solely on my name? You've given up on critical thinking? How stupid are you? He's fucking fun. Yeah, there's always dumbass parents out there itching to give their kids dumbass names. Northwest. Oh, the shade this game just threw is great. I love it. There's so much shade right now. And you know what? When this game was like made, I don't know. Well, no, I mean, I don't know when the game was first originally released in Japanese. Can't be that old if these were actually in there, or they were like, let's be relevant and present. Oh my god. Northwest, Blue Ivy Carter, Apple Martin, Royalty Brown, Tomorrow. The list goes on and on. Not to mention, there are plenty of unisex names out there as well. Alex, Jordan, Rowan, Dakota, Casey, Taylor, Sydney, Robin, Vivian, Mallory. I'm not kidding. I was friends with this girl once who was living with this other girl who was pregnant, and she had a baby names book, and like we were just chatting in the kitchen once, and I was like flipping through it, and under gender neutral names, Vivian and Mallory. So I was like, well, this is why I will never have kids, because I would be that asshole. I have a boy. His name is Vivian Mallory. Let's see how fast he gets beat the fuck up. So, yeah, I mean, there's some... I mean, Carol, Susan, Lindsay. Was Lindsay one? No, Leslie was. But, I mean, there's names like that back in the day were, like, man names, and now they're more female names, and so they're kind of technically gender neutral, I guess, but... I'm just saying. So, yeah, in this age of apples and norths, I'd say there's absolutely nothing strange about a guy named Alice. You're equating Alice to Apple? Ow, 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 ow! Out of nowhere, he pinched my cheek. Take a hint already! Or are you doing this on purpose? You're the one who said it. I rubbed my cheek, pouting. You're totally doing this on purpose. Ow, ow! This time he pinched my other cheek. So what do you want? It had better be of the utmost importance if you saw fit to interrupt my peaceful slumber. Otherwise, I'm going to keep massaging your cheeks. Messaging. Wow, I can't read. I clapped both hands over my cheeks defensively. I just wanted to let you know dinner's ready. Well, golly gee, how very kind of you. Oh, but what a shame.
If only you were working at a bed and breakfast or something, you would have known better, and I could have been eating your cooking without complaint. You're here to tell me dinner's ready? Out of the blue? Are you brain dead? Is that it? You think you could just somehow show up unannounced and say, hey, I made dinner, and I'm gonna say, gee, thanks? I had no way of knowing what you were planning. If I'd already ordered takeout, what if I'd caved to my hunger and bought a discount gas station food? They have gas stations in this area? I don't know what's going on. We're a close email fan. I don't know what's happening. Would you reimburse me for the money I wasted? Would you eat my portion on my behalf? I don't think so. Any bed and breakfast worth its salt will let you know about dinner ahead of time. Look, I knocked on your door multiple times. Your excuses sicken me. Sorry. I slumped my shoulders. Well, whatever. It's hardly worth firing a novice maidservant over a minor error. So what's for dinner? Cream stew. How very dull and unadventurous. But I suppose it'd be foolish to expect restaurant-level extravagance from someone of your caliber. Well, then you run back along to the kitchen. Hold on. I wasn't reading. I glanced over to, dust the bird dandruff off my computer that he keeps flipping onto my computer, and I just got lost track of where I was. But, well, then, you run along back to the kitchen, plate out my portion, and bring it back here. And for the record, this ain't America, so don't expect me to tip you. Oh, okay. You want me to bring it to you? I can do that. Be right back. Make it snappy. 1, 2, 3. And so, on his count, I raced down the stairs to the kitchen. You're all trying too hard. Hi there, Alice. How'd it go with him? He's so weird. Yes, he is. 343, 344, 345, 346, 347, 348. I can't believe we had to count that much. I'm back. Gasping for breath, I held out the tray carrying his dinner. You're late. It took you over 348 seconds. I nearly fell asleep waiting for you. He is Sleeping Beauty, not Alice. I think 5 minutes is pretty quick, personally. It wasn't 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes and 48 seconds. That's closer to 6 minutes. I mean, I could bring it to you faster if you don't mind it spilling everywhere. You idiot. Obviously, I wouldn't accept spilled stew. Presentation is a crucial part of cooking, and cold stew doesn't count as food. Right. Very well. Well, you've proved to be far more incompetent than I imagined. At the very least, you didn't commit the mortal sin of pairing stew with white rice. Rejoice, peasant! Enjoy your beloved tsundere content. Now he's throwing shade at us. Thank you? You'd have to be out of your mind to pair rice with something as sweet as cream stew. To me, bread is the only option. I'll choose bread every time. Or naan in the case of curry. I like rice with curry myself. You could do rice and naan, motherfuckers. What the hell is wrong with you? Hello? Maybe you should live in America, where carbs are the rule. And then our opinions can never be reconciled. Just as I thought, we're fated never to understand one another so long as we live. Oh, we are in the same brain, I guarantee you. We are like the same person. Now, I bid you farewell, rice lover. That sounded a little racist. And so Alice snatched the tray from my hands and slammed the door in my face.
Don't you on my computer screen. It's bad. You're so cute, though. You look a little scruffalufus. Because you got some feathers coming in, so you look a little scrubby. You look kind of old.
And pink. Why do you look pink? It's probably from rubbing against my hair.
Did the hair dye getting all over your feathers?
Poor bird. Whoa. A moment later, the door opened again. Also, if you're planning to make this a recurring thing, then I expect you to leave it outside my room at the same time each day. I don't want to have to interact with you every mealtime. And for the record, I wake up at 10 a.m. every morning. Don't forget it. What? This time he closed the door for good and locked it. Oh, welcome back. You really got him started, didn't you? I can hear the carnage from here. He's very interesting, isn't he? I chose my words carefully as I spoke. So to you, weird equals interesting? You're so sweet. Personally, I would have used a more fitting adjective like distasteful. I felt his statement was crossing a line, but smiled awkwardly nonetheless. Is he always like that? Always. He's quite the sarcastic little contrarian. And no matter what you say to him, he'll launch into a rant at the drop of a hat. Sounds entertaining, to say the least. And then you're braver than I am. See, he's the mean one that's going to yell at you, and he's the mean one that's going to, like, be nice but do horrible things to you. I don't know. He's a little sadistic underneath the soft, delicate, precious veneer, and I just cannot wait for that. Gretel grinned. How long has he lived here, anyway? Beats me. It feels like I blinked and he was just there. So you don't know that much about him? Even though he's a tenant in your house? Cinderella owns this house, not me. He says jump and we say how high. And thus, I know next to nothing about that other Alice, nor am I particularly interested. I see. Perhaps it was in fact Cinderella who was the weirdest person in the family. Anyway, you're the one who decided to kick the hornet's nest, so it's your responsibility to look after him. Oh my god. Makasaremashita? Mashita, I've heard of, but Makasaremashita. Okay, leave it to me! I had to pause. I was like, that's a long word. It takes a lot. Anyway, thank you for dinner. It was scrumptious. Gretel got to his feet, leaving his empty plate on the table. You're very welcome. Oh yeah, do you have any favorite dishes in particular? Will you make them for me? If I can, sure. In that case, I'd love anything sweet. Sugar's good for the brain, as they say. Yeah, but not for the body. How are you so skinny if all you eat is sugar? I mean, you just talked about sugar and I gained 5 pounds. Jerk. Anything sweet. Okay, I'll think of something. I shall keep my expectations tempered. Rude. After Gretel left, I patiently waited for Cinderella to come home before I ate. Hours ticked by until dinner time had long since passed. He sure is out late tonight. My stomach rumbled for the umpteenth time. Ugh. I clutched my abdomen. I glanced over at the stove and debated reheating the stew, now that it was almost certainly ice cold. No, I should wait for Cinderella. I shook my head, fighting the urge to sate my own needs. All this time I waited specifically so I could have dinner with Cinderella. If I ate without him, it would mean this hours-long investment was all in vain. As I wrestled with myself, in walked the man himself. Welcome home, Cinderella. Would you like dinner? I ran over to him with a smile. Nah, I already ate. What is he wearing? Listen, I was wondering, would you mind if I cooked and cleaned for everyone? Sure, knock yourself out. Want me to raise your salary? Oh, no, I don't need more money. But before I could even finish my sentence, he left the room without a second glance. Is he wearing his vest wrapped around his fucking head? What the fuck is going on? What am I going to do with the rest of the stew? As I mumbled sadly to myself, my stomach squeaked at me. It was kind of cute, actually. Us sad girls still gotta eat. Yeah, we do, and then we eat a lot. Late that night. Ugh. I should have had that early supper. Now I'm hungry again. Is there anything edible in this house? Is that how he normally dresses? Like, we were seeing him fancy for... I'm just, like, really confused anyway. Oh, nice. There's a lot. And give me some of the salami. Oh, wait. What's with the pot? Oh, what's in here? Stew? And that reminds me. And that chick said she made dinner or something. She put the whole damn pot in the fridge? Not bad at all. We're going to kill him without cooking. I mean, make him fall in love with us without cooking. It's funny because I've got my headphones on, so it's like the sound is only coming through my speakers. But like normally I'm used to playing PS Vita games where are like on my TV and I still have my headphones on. So the bird can hear the birds. And I was like, how are you not reacting to the birdies? And then I was like, right, you can't hear them. Oh, great. Bird looked at me funny. Oh, good morning, Cinderella. Good morning, dear brother. Morning. Cinderella walked in right as I was preparing breakfast. He looked grumpy. Maybe he wasn't a morning person. The background music. This wasn't another game. I know this fucking background music. That is just so weird. I know sometimes you'll see background, you're like, that background itself? You're like, oh, they kind of edited it, but it looks the same as in a different game. This music has been in another game, and I can't remember which one, but I know this music. Holy shit. That's fucking weird. I'm just tripping me out, man. Okay, so we have like the amnesia memories thing where you go down a different route and it's kind of like a different version of the world. Okay, fine, I get that. It's just the mechanics of the game. But then you've got someone, I'm like, he reminds me of Kaguya. And then you have Kaguya, who reminds me of Munchkin. There's just some trippy shit going on in this game. I love it, though. I love it. I figured he'd walk out again, but instead he plopped himself down in a chair and stared at me. What's up? I looked back at him curiously. Hurry up. With what? My food. He tapped his fingers on the table. Then he glanced pointedly at Gretel's plate. This can only mean one thing. You want me to cook for you? No shit. That's why I sat down. Oh, okay. Coming right up. And so I launched into cooking at the speed of light. What are you doing, Goofy Bird? A few minutes later, I plated a very fluffy omelet along with salami and a salami and cheese croissant sandwich. To keep things healthy and add a splash of color, I dished him some fruit along with it. I like the way you think. I had a feeling this would suit your preferences. Oh, but if you'd rather have Japanese food, I can make you some fried fish. Fuck, I can't speak. Fried fish and miso soup instead. Currently, I was heating up some French onion soup to go along with it. And eat like a poor person? And no thank you. The croissant sandwich he was eating was actually cheaper than what I suggested, but I decided to keep that to myself. What about you? Oh, I'll just eat the leftover stew from last night. Uh-huh. Cinderella munched on his croissant sandwich, sounding altogether disinterested. I watched him for a moment, then I decided to ask him something that had been on my mind. You know, it's funny. Last night I could have sworn there was a ton of stew left over, but come this morning I found there was only enough for one more serving. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Instantly he froze. I don't know. Maybe it's your mind playing tricks on you. Or maybe a fairy did it. Oh, of course! A fairy! He probably snuck in while I was sleeping and helped himself. I clapped my hands together. Uh-huh. He gave a non-committal grunt. Interesting. Must have been a really big fairy, by the way. Oh, must have been a really big fairy. By the way, Cinderella, I saw you heading into the kitchen last night. What was that about? I kind of get a little confused every once in a while when they call him Cinderella, and I think they're talking to me, and then I'm like, wait, no, I'm not Cinderella, he's Cinderella. And it's like... As Gretel cut in, Cinderella fell silent. You respond to his silence by teasing him, staying quiet. Should I tease him or stay quiet? I feel like staying quiet is probably the right thing to do, but I kind of want to just throw a little shade at him. I'm going to tease him. I feel like we're sassy enough that we might tease him a little. It might be a bad thing to do in his route. Like maybe we're supposed to like always be nice to him, but I want to tease him. You ate some, didn't you? Fine, you got me. I ate the damn stew. And what of it? And so he angrily admitted to his crime. Annoyed, Cinderella averted his gaze. At this rate, he was likely to storm off somewhere. Okay, I gotta take some up to Alice's room. But once you've eaten, I'll make you something to drink. I hastily took the hint and made myself scarce. Safe travels up there. Good morning, Alice! I called out to him from the other side of the door, but he didn't respond. Granted, it was quite possible he was still asleep. Why? Because it was 9 a.m., and he told me he woke up every morning at 10. Now you might be wondering, why not arrive at 10 a.m. like he asked? And the answer is quite simple. 10 a.m. was when the cafe opened for business. Breakfast is ready! I'll leave it here for you! Unwilling to waste any more time, I dragged my bedside table out into the hall and set the tray onto it.
Tray goes on the floor, bitch. When I returned to the kitchen, Gretel was rinsing his dirty dishes off in the sink. Oh, I can take care of that. This is the least I can do after you cooked. Well, okay. Guess I'll take you up on that. Thanks. I appreciate it. I glanced over at Cinderella to find him nearly done with his own breakfast. In that case, I'll make us a little something to drink. How about some coffee? We also have black tea and green tea. I'm fine with coffee. Espresso or cafe au lait? I guess I'll take cafe au lait. What about you, Gretel? A cafe au lait for me as well. Pinching the hem of my dress, I curtsied gracefully. Kashiko marimashita? Coming right up. I love this. We're learning Japanese, guys. We have to pause because that word is like an entire sentence. That's a lot of fucking syllables. Kashiko marimashita. Unless you don't say the E, and then it's kashiko karimashita. But kashiko karimashita. I don't know which way you do it. Because I know in like mashita, it's not mashita. You don't pronounce the I. But I don't know if you do that in the first part of this, so. Kashiko karimashita or kashiko karimashita. Something like that. Coming right up! I'm assuming we're humming. Humming to myself, I clicked the switch on the siphon coffee maker. Once the water began to boil, the steam rose to the top, mixing with the coffee grounds to begin the brewing process. Perfect! While I waited for the coffee to brew, I bustled around the dining area to get the milk and utensils ready. I'm sorry, buddy, but oh, it's killing me, that feather. Hey, Gretel. Oh, what is it? Is this a cafe? Why, yes, it is. The next thing I knew, Cinderella and Gretel were suddenly standing behind me. You know how to use a siphon coffee maker. Yep, this is actually my favorite way to make coffee. It's fun to watch the steam rise to the top, you know? Kind of like magic. And when it's all done, it smells amazing. Huh. I wouldn't know. I hardly use the thing. Then what's the point of having one? I just bought it for decoration. Gotta have the right ambiance, you know? So it's both functional and aesthetic. That's so smart. But Cinderella didn't return my smile. He's like, why are you being nice to me? What? Are you being sarcastic or are you just a ditz? I guess I'm a ditz then. I put my index finger to my chin and tilted my head in a cutesy display. I love how we kind of fuck with him unless she's like, must be a ditz. Instead of being like, are you an asshole or just a twat waffle? What are you today, a douche canoe? You know you're ditzy, then it doesn't count. Oh, if you know you're ditzy, then it doesn't count. Oh, sorry, but I'm not being sarcastic, honest. You better not be. Oh, the coffee's nearly ready now. Go on and have a seat over there. At my suggestion, Cinderella fell silent and sat down. Cinderella, you know you don't stand a chance against a crafty little fox like her. And take your eyes off her for 1 second, and she'll have you wrapped around her little finger. Like hell she will. Ha 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 ha! Challenge accepted! I'm gonna fail the first time through this without a guide, but 20 minutes later, there you go! I set 2 cups of coffee on the counter. It smells great. You can say that again. I poured a cup for myself and joined them at the counter. I feel like I'm losing Gretel's voice, but... So, what's your name anyway? Huh? It was quite possibly the world's most belated question. You didn't think to ask her that before you hired her? It's her fault for not introducing herself. I wanted to tell him, you didn't let me introduce myself, but I held my tongue. I'm Alice. Alice what? Huh? Oh, my last name. Caught off guard, I couldn't help but stammer. Well, it's... Oh God, what do I do now? I knew I needed to give him something. Anything. But nothing sprang to mind. Alice Arisu. Arisu. As I hesitated... Never mind, I don't really care. He shrugged. It was a rather sudden about-face, considering he was the one who asked in the first place.
Don't chew the buttons on my computer. You can't have control. You're not in control here. I'm in control here. No, you don't be feisty bird.
I feel like that's a bit of a problematic statement coming from her boss. And not like we signed any paperwork. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. A good thing you're not a cop. Oh, for Christ's sake. I keep pushing your luck and eventually it'll come back to bite you. It's bad enough enduring the shame of being associated with your infamy. I refuse to be related to a criminal. Don't worry, Gretel. If they try to arrest him, I'll just say I'm a tenant doing chores. I gave him a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. You do that. Gretel extended his hand and I shook it. And so the pact of perjury was sealed. Hey! Quit assuming I'm gonna get arrested. We're just joking around, right, Gretel? Oh, I'm dead serious. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Cinderella took a big, awkward sip of his coffee. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Cinderella, I wanted to talk to you about the cafe.
Stop! You cannot has control. You can't has it. It's not for you. Stop it.
And then he looks and he's like, okay, I'm being all yelled at.
You're so cute, but you're a brat. Drew's a little bratty bird. Can I get that feather?
Bird, let me get it. Anyway. In the cafe. All right, how'd it go yesterday? We didn't get a single customer. Oh, well, no surprise there. Another day in the red. Oh, well, so what about it? I think we need to fix this. Yeah, probably. Is that all you wanted to say, or... What? I blinked at him. Look, you're trying to run a business, right? Don't you think you need to start bringing in some customers? Nah, it doesn't matter. Customers or no customers, it makes no difference. And having no customers means I get to take it easy. Then why did you hire me? Good question. I guess I just felt like it. Yeah, if I had to say, it was probably just a whim. The thing about us rich folks is, unlike you poors, we can afford to be generous. Oh, I get it. I didn't get it actually, but I nodded anyway. If he hired a total stranger purely on a whim, then I was right. He was by far the weirdest person in this family. Besides, with or without customers, the property value on this place is on the rise. Worst case scenario, I can just sell the whole thing and probably make a killing. You'd sell off your own cafe? Yeah, once the price starts to plateau. Oh, but I guess then you wouldn't have anywhere to live. Oh well, life's not fair. Don't blame me. Blame your low-class parents. Right. I couldn't think of anything more pertinent to say. You're like, oh, well, he's nice. He'll just hire someone off the street. You don't care if I'm homeless. Okay, well, there goes that. Instead, I wondered absently how he would react if he found out I was his fairly wealthy, prospective fiancé. Besides, no customers means nobody buys anything, and that means no overhead expenses for restocking. No big deal. Then why call this a cafe at all? I don't know. To me, it just feels like I bought a house and now I'm living in it. Does it really matter? I guess not. So then, why even try to keep the cafe open in the first place? Oh well, when I first bought the property, I was originally planning to flip it, but then I decided I felt like running a cafe, so it was like a free bonus. Imagine being me, the town celebrity, and having all the money in the world. To me, it's like charity work or something. And then again, you are a great cook, so, maybe you're onto something here. Just then he turned to look at me. Yes? Say, do you like to learn? Yes? No? I mean, sure. What you doing? You like just froze in place for a second. You okay? You alright? What's the matter? You gotta go poopies? Oh, good birdie. Thank you for not pooping on me. You left all your dandruff behind, though. He's getting all of his feathers back in, so when he, cleans off his pin feathers that are coming in, they get the little dandruffy stuff that grows around them to help them go through their skin. It's kind of gross, but it's that's all over my desk now. It's like a snowstorm over here. It's kind of grody. Anyway. Oh, yes, absolutely. I raised my hand in a pick-me gesture. And personally, I love all things fun, fresh, and interesting. Hence, I'm always looking for new things to learn. That probably got his points then. So you're the curious type, I take it. My image of Cinderella continued to shift from an upper-class snob to a good Samaritan and an inquisitive to a good Samaritan to an inquisitive oddball. There you go. That's what it should say. All right, it's settled. Suddenly he slapped his thigh. Starting today, We're gonna make this cafe the best restaurant in all the land.
What? Where the hell did that come from?
Hey, Alice.
Yes? I straightened my posture.
We'll do whatever you want. You can beef up the menu or change things however you see fit. I'll foot the bill. In exchange, you turn this place around, and we're printing enough money to make even me feel... until we're printing enough money to make even me feel faint.
We decided to fetch Snow White and give him an overview of our new goal. You're going to manage the cafe?
Yep.
And you're wondering if I have any ideas?
Yep.
Oh, well, I don't. The end. He turned on his heel, but I quickly grabbed him by the arm. Wait, please don't go! He reluctantly turned back, a scowl plastered on his face.
Oh, come on, Snow. Not like you got anything better to do. How about for once?
Even if I did, I wouldn't be of any use to anyone.
Well, that's not true. You know what they say. 2 heads are better than 1.
You've got 2 other heads right over there. He was referring to his brothers, of course.
You may as well give up now, Snow White. You know a certain someone always gets his way around here.
Gretel jerked his thumb at Cinderella. Snow White's scowl deepened, and Cinderella cleared his throat awkwardly.
Look, people, who runs this place?
It's going to be me in a minute. Why, my dear brother Cinderella, of course.
And who graciously lets you live here?
You do.
And that's right. So, my sweet little brothers, do we understand who's in charge around here?
Finally, Snow White plopped down in a chair as though he'd resigned himself for the worst. In contrast with Cinderella's smile, the younger guys both looked disgruntled. Sorry for dragging you into this. Don't worry. Not like I hate your guts or anything.
Sounds suspiciously like you do hate my guts.
Oh, he's pissed all right. Whatever. Let's just get on with the meeting and figure this out. I kind of love him. Because he's like, it's not like I hate your guts. And then he's like, you're like, but you're fucking pissed at me. Maybe it's just the way I read him. Like, oh, he's kind of calm and gentle, but he's like stewing on the inside and wants to murder us. And it just makes it so much more like, oh, scary, and I like it. I don't know. He steepled his fingers together. And the topic of the day is how to bring in more customers. And now then, let's go around the room clockwise, starting with Alice. My heart skipped a beat in surprise. Me? Okay, let's see. How will you respond? Ask Cinderella what he wants to do. Well, okay. There is something to be said for ask Cinderella, like, oh, I defer to you because I think you're great and smart and wonderful, which could get us points. But also just being ballsy and being like, here's what we need to do, and taking charge could also be a good thing. I'm not sure. Either one could be both good or bad. I think her personality is really more the suggest to rebrand. She doesn't seem like the Cinderella, what would you do? Like the docile kind of type. He might not like it, but that's what we're going for, so I'm going to suggest the rebrand. Personally, I think maybe this place is a bit too intimidating for the average customer. So, you're saying customers are too scared to come in? Exactly. I mean, there's no sign out front. There's hardly a menu. Most people probably don't even realize this is a cafe at all. It was a pretty valid point, considering I was essentially flying by the seat of my pants here.
What? I seem to recall having a sign.
Cinderella squinted at me dubiously. Well, if you did, it's not there now. I squinted back. I knew I wasn't misremembering things. After all, the lack of signage had caught my attention the very first night I arrived.
And that can't be right. Hey, Gretel, what happened to the damn sign?
Beats me. Okay, then, what about you, Snow? Oh, that was Cinderella.
Okay, then, what about you, Snow?
Snow White looked at him blankly. You took it down a while back and handed it off to me, remember?
Oh, that's right. I wanted to get that ugly thing out of the way before the party.
Well, what did you do with it? Threw it away?
You did what?
Just kidding. It's in storage.
Well, put it back outside. What else are we going to use it for?
He had a point. Meanwhile, I was starting to understand exactly how a stylish cafe in the heart of downtown came to have 0 customers. Oh, well, that's one problem solved. Anything else?
Oh, pick me!
I raised my hand. She's fucking weird. I actually really like her because she's like, she has the little, oh, I love cooking and cleaning. And you're like, really? But then she's like, oh, pick me. And you're like, which could normally seem like really kind of like childish or like stupid, but it's really not. It seems like it's kind of funny. Like, oh, I have one. Oh, pick me. I got it. Like, there's a little like snark and sass in her. So when she does things that I think with any of some of the other MCs we've ever met before would seem like, are you fucking kidding me, you doormat? It's just, it's funny and quirky and I love it. Like, but like, if she were like docile and innocent and oh no, there's a boy there and oh my gosh, oh, like some of like the MCs we've met who are just literally like fucking brainless, spineless, personalityless doormats, her raising her hand and going, pick me would be like, fucking shut up. But like this, I don't know, she's doing the same thing, but it's just funnier because she's got a little sass in her. She's got a personality. Sometimes she'll like sass back. And sometimes she's like, you know what? I see the good in all people. Like I just really so far like her personality. It could just be this route, but I enjoy it. It seems like a real personality. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's got a little bit of sass. She still has a little bit of faith in people where it's could be a little naive. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I think Cinderella's probably a great person underneath. It's not really naive, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's normally our MCs are always like, oh, they're great. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure he's great. And you're like, you are stupid. It borders from having faith in people to just being flat out dumb. But she's got that like, I have faith in people where you're like, oh, that's cute. But with every other bit of personality, you're like, you know what? It's just wholesome. It's just nice that you feel good about everybody. But you got some sass and you'll sass them back if you need to. You know what I mean? Like, and she picks up on things. She's not like, he was looking at me and I didn't understand why he was glaring. She's like, oh, he pissed. like I like this. She's a good character. I really, the MC being a pain in the ass is the biggest problem for me. Like, I wouldn't hate this game if I didn't hate the MC so much. Like, especially some of the mixed review kind of ones we've done where you're like, these guys are assholes, but I hate us more than I hate them. I really like her. And I like all these characters. It does give me Oz Mafia kind of vibes, too, with like the art and everything, and it just makes me really sad that we couldn't play Oz Mafia. And it makes me really concerned every once in a while. And every part I've been recording, I'm just very concerned that these are going to get taken down and we're not going to be able to put them up. See what happens. Anyway. Yes, Alice. You've had at least 1 or 2 customers since the cafe's been open, right? So why haven't they been back? A good question. Oh, we did get a few customers back when we first opened. So what made them stop coming? How should I know? Gretel shrugged his shoulders. What do you mean? It's literally your job to know these things. Like this. Snow White was in charge of the dining area, not me. Naturally, everyone turned to look at Snow White. I think maybe the customer service was a teensy bit lacking in hospitality? This was currently our biggest issue, and I made sure to soften my statement as much as possible. Yeah, and no matter how good the food is, if the waiter is a jerk, I'd never go back there again, that's for sure. I hope you're listening, Snow. This is your problem. And Cinderella promptly ruined all my effort to be discreet. Cinderella! I lightly pinched his cheek. What? The cornerstone of great customer service is a great smile. I figured you could use some practice. Excuse me. Are you forgetting who I am? My boss? And so he helped me practice right back. Anyway, jokes aside, this means our customer service needs improvement. So your proposed solution would be to smile more? There's no good place to end this. I should have ended it before we had this conversation, but it's okay. We'll go a little long. Once again, everyone looked at Snow White. Hey, Snow, let's see your smile for a sec. But Snow White turned away. I guess that's a no. Okay, you go first. Smile at him, and maybe he'll smile back. Who, me? Sure. I wasn't expecting Cinderella to request me directly. Now to put on my most winning grin and blow them all away. How's this? I donned my best smile. I'd give it 10 points. I'll give you a generous 12 points myself. This was the part where they were all supposed to blush, but instead they stared back dismally. That was out of 50 points total, right?
No? 100 points total, obviously.
I was like 10 out of 10. There's no way. When he said, I'll give you 10 points, I was like, oh my god, that's not out of 10. I knew he was going to say 100. Your rating system sucks. I slumped my shoulders. I tried to make them weak in the knees, and what did I get? A punch in the gut.
And no point in forcing it, I guess. In that case, we'll just let Snow White stay as he is for now.
In contrast to their treatment of me, they were more than happy to cuddle Snow White. Sorry, my ear itches under my headset, and now oh fuck, now my hair's all messed up. Well, something has to give. Just then it hit me. Oh, I know. Why don't we have Gretel cover the dining area? You're really friendly looking, so I'm sure you'll be a hit with all the girls. I feel like you just snuck an insult in there.
Nah, you're reading too much into it.
I laughed and waved a hand dismissively. I don't mind working in the dining hall in theory, but then there'll be no one left to cover the kitchen. Oh, right. What about you, Cinderella?
Excuse me? Lady, I'm the owner. My job is to open my wallet, nothing else.
Plenty of business owners help run their businesses. I wasn't backing down from this one. In that case, we'll have Cinderella join us on our shifts. Any objections?
You're damn right I object to this. Why the hell should I?
No objections here. Sounds good to me. Snow White and I immediately agreed, and Gretel soon followed suit. Well, obviously I have no objections, and so by a majority vote of 3-1, Cinderella will now work with us in the cafe. Yay! The three of us applauded, happy to finally be on the same page for once. No! Cinderella scowled as I shot him an encouraging thumbs up. Smile, Cinderella! Show us those pearly whites, or else your grumpy scowl will scare away all the customers.
Shut up! 10 points.
Shut up, 10 points. That's our nickname now, 10 points. Fucking love this. Wow, that really hurts my feelings. Anyway, don't worry, Cinderella. I'll be there to help you every step of the way. He turned away sulking. Evidently, he'd lost the will to fight me on this. Anyone else have anything to say? A constructive criticism preferred. I do. Snow White raised his hand. This part is going forever. Hello, that's rare. Go for it, Snow White. The floor is yours. And this conversation is going nowhere. We have no attachment to the business, nor do we thirst for wealth. And we don't need to make a profit to survive. So it really doesn't matter either way. But while that may be true for us, the other cafes are a different story. So what you're saying is, we should be using these other cafes as a reference point? Snow White nodded his assessment at my interpretation of his statement. That's a good idea. Like we're rebuilding from the bottom up, so to speak. Learn from the plebs, in other words. Well, that's rude. Who says they're all plebs? What if they're spoiled layabouts like you? Ugh, who even cares? Think of it like a recon mission. Me and Gretel will watch the house, so you guys have fun. You guys? Cinderella and I exchanged a glance. Fine, whatever. Let's just go and get it over with. Oh, he's sending us on a date. How are you balancing like that? He's got one foot tucked up, and he is basically like almost face planted into my hand. You are so silly. He grabbed my arm and got to his feet. Wait, what? What about the cafe? And they just said they'd handle it. What? Hey! Whoa! Slow down! And so Cinderella dragged me off, his two younger brothers waving after us. Come back soon. Or don't. That works too. This is the perfect place to end it. This game is so fucking good. It's so good. I literally take back everything I was mad about. Well, price-wise, I was just shocked at it. It was sticker shock, but it's definitely worth it. And honestly, even the annoyance, I still bothers me that I can't do full screen with randomly clicking and the thing keeps changing, and that's just weird, but that's technical shit. And I was miffy about that, and it was just aggravating and frustrating. But now that we've kind of gotten a workaround going with it, I don't particularly like the workaround because then I got to remember to change my recording process every single time I'm using it. But it works for this. It's okay. I just can't move my screen or anything. Gotta be careful. Hopefully it's been working. I haven't checked any of them, so shit. But yeah, no, I am enjoying this. This is great. So I really hope the other parts come out. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.